The CDC says the average number of lifetime sexual partners for women is around 4 to 8.
I don't believe anybody.
So niggas from YouTube can make up whatever, but the CDC says this, and you brought up data and statistics. So there you go.
Man, I don't know.
That's probably who took the survey.
The CDC.
Okay.
Did the CDC tell folks they had to wear a mask for a while? It's the same. It's the same CDC that told people they had to wear a mask. Come on, man. You can't go by them, man.
Okay.
You cannot go by them, man. I'm not even. They are completely compromised. You cannot trust them at all.
The great Kevin Samuel said this. This is the first time in history that y'all niggas will look facts, data, statistics in the face and say otherwise because y'all niggas feel different.
Well, I'm not going by how I feel. I'm going by what I know.
Yes,
I know differently
too. You don't know that because you don't
know most people
in the world, nigga.
Well,
you don't know. No. You don't know nobody that's over the age of 30 that only slept with 4 people.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
100% I do.
No, you don't.
We just said old people are catching STDs in the old.
Nigga, you haven't even slept with
one
people.
person to catch STD. It don't take a whole lot of people to catch STD.
Nigga, you haven't even slept with any. You haven't even slept with less than 4 people. Have you slept with less than 4 people, Quinton?
Nigga, we're talking about women to men. We're not talking about men. Most women's lifetime sexual partners 4 to 8. You can say
women sleep with women might have higher numbers than men.
Facts.
Women might have higher numbers than men.
Y'all hate women.
It's only
you guys are women haters. Women haters.
No. This ain't no, Quinn. You're wrong.
He is wrong.
And your life experiences.
I know a girl,
somehow seem to misguide
I know a lady
you.
over 30 who hasn't had sex with over 4 women. Her name's Mika.
Hey.
You can't talk. You can't.
Mika ain't had sex with half a man. That's
stop, bro.
But
stop.
hey,
You can't do that. Bro. You can't do that.
I know that
that's evil. That's
pure.
evil.
Mika's as pure as it comes.
I'm not even gonna interact.
You can't throw.
How you gonna?
I said she's pure. I'm gonna call her a whore. Yeah, never mind. Mika's a whore. Fuck it.
We didn't
say that
Mika.
now.
We're
don't
speaking
say that
in
now.
general.
Don't say that now.
I don't know anyone over the age of 30 who has less than 4 bodies. Yes, I do.
I'm not even interacting with this shit, bro. Because you being a child right now.
No, I'm not. You're being disingenuous, freaking male chauvinistic to think all women are whores.
You being a child by throwing people in there that ain't even got nothing to do with the conversation.
What do you mean? I said that it's bad that I told Mika she's not a whore. What's childish about that?
Just don't.
She said in the light. What do you mean?
We don't.
Childish.
Don't personalize the shit, bro. If you can't personalize it about yourself.
I don't know anybody. How am I supposed to take it? I don't know nobody over the age of 30. I do know somebody. He put it on me. What the fuck are you talking about?
If you can't personalize it about yourself, you can't personalize it about anybody else on the panel.
He's so childish.
Sorry, Mika. I didn't say that your body count. I said your body count was under 4, Mika. Sorry that I said that about you.
This nigga talking so hard, he's spitting into the mic.
Y'all niggas ain't shit, nigga.
This nigga salivating over the mic.
Nigga, your breath stink, nigga. We can see it on your fucking face.
He talking so hard into the mic.
Man, this is sad.
Nigga, it look like you stink, nigga. You're emanating fucking
what is
trash.
Wrong with you tonight, bro?
Okay, Quinton, you're right. Most women have smashed 7 dudes or less.
Molly, I love you. Don't start.
Quinton is on
the question now.
Go ahead. Because you certainly shouldn't want to step in between. Go ahead, get your shit on. Answer your question.
Anybody.
She getting removed from HR. She getting removed from HR.
I don't have my good microphone. I can't do it.
Anybody.
Step
in.
Well, I'm just curious. So let's assume that what you're saying is accurate, Anton. Let's assume that that's accurate and that most women are whores because of their body count. And you said that you would treat your advice, or you would treat people like they're whores until they prove otherwise. How then?
I said I'm assuming that they are horrible.
You're assuming they are until.
Let's say I would treat anybody anyway, but I just said I'm assuming that they are until they prove me otherwise.
How would somebody do that?
How would somebody do what?
How do you prove that you're not?
What do you mean? Over a period of time, when you actually get to know the person extensively, then that's when you start to, you know what I'm saying, know a little bit more about them.
So is it based off of you finding out their numbers and trusting it?
That's why I say that. Well, no, you get to understand their lifestyle, you get to understand their background. That's why I say that you shouldn't date, because then you get to authentically observe people and you get to see how they think and how they communicate without them trying to impress you, right? And so that's why when you observe people, you get to see their background. If you get to see how it is that they operate, how they, you know what I'm saying, how many different men that they go through, how many different men that they're with, all of that stuff. When you get to see people authentically instead of seeing a person and what they're trying to impress upon you, even when people try to impress you, sometimes you can read right through that shit, right? But you gotta observe them. You just gotta observe over a longer period of time, and people will tell you the pattern. Because I don't think that most people change. I think that they give you a pattern, and that pattern is something that actually shows you exactly what their history has been.
So is getting to know them over time is that showing you that they don't have a hoes mentality, or that they don't have hoes numbers?
What do you mean?
Okay, so it seemed like you define a hoe or a whore based off of how many men she slept with. But you said
that's usually the definition.
So
you can't be a whore if you're not sleeping with people. So how do you find that out over time? What do you mean? I can observe her. I don't have to. Okay, I'll give you an example. I don't have to ask a woman what her body count is to know that she didn't sleep with a lot of people. I don't have to ask a woman about her body count. I can see how she move. I can see how she move with men. I can see how easy it is for certain men to get at her. I can see how her response is, how friendly she is, how you could just observe a woman and you can tell.
And then you just attach an arbitrary number to it after all this.
No, the number is whore or not.
And this is exactly what I was saying earlier. All you got to do is observe.
Did you say whore or not?
All you got to do is
the arbitrary number. Listen, if the arbitrary number is for the streets or not. Listen, if I kick it with a chick, right, and if I can get to the point where I can fuck her on the first night, I'm not naive enough to think that she just loved me.
Facts.
If I can get her on the first night, nigga, you got her on the first night, and he got her on the first night, and he probably did too.
What about the very first guy who got her on the first night? What about that guy?
When is the type of nigga to think he's special?
I am special.
You're not special. None of us are.
I am. Yes,
none of us are special.
I'm special.
None of us are special.
I'm special.
And see, that's the way that people get finessed. People take people. Nigga. Okay.
I got a golden ticket.
No, I mean, I get
Willy Wonka.
Those who present themselves in that regard, like the obvious stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that. I guess I'm trying to see how your way of observing would apply to a woman who doesn't do like whorish things.
There's no specific formula is what I'm saying. You just know.
You just go with your instinct.
Is observation, is behavioral patterns, it's all of that. It's everything above and included. It's how she talks, it's how easy it is for you to be able to get her, it's everything. And I'm not criticizing whores. Let's be clear. I'm not criticizing. I just understand the game. It is what it is. You hard pressed to find a woman that's a virgin above the age of 21. It's rare. It's very rare. Whereas if you go back maybe 40, 50 years ago, that number would be up significantly more than it is in 2000. 1975 would be different than it is in 2025, right? It just is what it is. People have more access. Is easier for them to connect. Nowadays, regular motherfuckers is willing to put a chick on a Spirit flight in order to bust her down. Hoes is out here telling on themselves on TikTok. You can go and look at her social media and talk and see how she operate. It's too many sources of information for you to draw a conclusion, for you to act naive and act like she gonna treat you differently. It's so many sources.
So are you really treating her? Are you really assuming she's a hoe before anything, or you're just not assuming anything until she shows you who she is?
Well,
no,
Anton says anyone
I'm sorry,
who has sex with anyone.
Is my mic working? She asked me. I'm assuming that she's a hoe.
What's your definition of a hoe, Anton?
A woman that sleeps around with different men.
The last time we asked you this question, you said anyone who didn't have who has sex with anyone besides her husband.
That's literally the same thing.
No, you said sleep around, not
with different men. Correct.
But what if she has sex with one person that's not her husband? There's one person ever in life. Is she a hoe? And that person wasn't her husband.
How old is she?
No, you said if you don't have sex with your...
Is she 18 or is she 38? Is she 18 or is she 38? Context matters. If a chick is sleeping around and she got 2 or 3 bodies at 18, yes, she's a hoe. If a chick is 40 and she got 2 or 3 bodies, I can give her a little bit more grace. What's the problem?
I hope no young dude hears this little clip, that he takes some chick out and he's like, Anton said, treat them like hoes until they show me otherwise.
Prove me wrong, and you a hoe.
No, you just don't be too eager.
I'm gonna be honest. Man. Like,
that's a protection. That's a protection mechanism.
No, I'm saying
need to hear this.
You put no. I think it's more important. I think it's more important the part that the context that you added, the observation, the conversation, all of that. I'm halfway being funny and I'm halfway not, because some people might hear what you said and they don't even know what that means. Like, I'm gonna look at her like
it means that you just be normal with people, but at the same time, you don't put yourself in a position to get finessed by believing that somebody is something that they probably not.
Yeah,
and so even if somebody tells you something, if somebody tells you something, just take it in jest.
Yeah, don't be so naive that you're thinking every woman is a wife.
The explanation is more significant of what you're saying than until they show you this, think that they're that, as opposed to
why not? Why
don't.
That's the advice I'm giving my sons whenever I have children. Slot them like that's what they are until they show you otherwise.
Why wouldn't I assume? Listen, if somebody in every other situation in life is applicable, right? If you are a person of means, or if you are a celebrity, for example, then you would have to assume that people that come around you are looking to use you, or they're only around you because you're a celebrity unless they prove themselves otherwise over a period of time. How is it any different when we talking about, relationships, sex, all of that stuff? Even when you go on a job, you got to be on probation for at least a 90-day period in order for them to actually give you your full benefits. Yeah, you got to do a lot of things and qualify yourself over a period of time to show yourself to be consistent, to show yourself that you actually qualify. I said earlier. Yeah. But then we want to remove the barrier to entry and automatically assume that everybody is a good person. When you first meet them, you go through an interview process. Sometimes you got to go through 3 or 4 interview processes with different people from different departments so that they can evaluate you to figure out if you're really who you are, or if you're going to be a cultural fit, or if you're going to be a problem. So how is that different when it comes to assuming the worst? I am absolutely going to assume that you are what you are unless you prove me differently. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to deny you your humanity. It don't mean that I'm going to call you out of your name, but it's very much a protection mechanism.
Well, the difference between that and the job is that the job is not assuming that you're going to be a terrible employee. I mean, if you got that far, they're assuming that there's something that's redeemable. So
they're assuming it. They're assuming it.
No, because they would have hired somebody else. They're not going to hire.
No. So
person's going to be horrible. Let's see what happens. Like,
no, they're assuming it. That's why they have the probationary period.
No, they're guarding against you being a terrible person. They don't think you're going to be terrible. If they thought,
but just like if you have a prenup, right? You're guarding against just in case you want to take my money.
But
right? So you have to assume that this person is capable of doing that.
You again.
No, Kimmy.
If they thought that you were going to be terrible, they would have hired somebody else. They're not walking in the interview saying, "Well, let me hire the worst candidate in here and just hope that the 90-day probation weeds them out." Like nobody.
Okay, so let me frame it differently. Let me frame it differently. The job automatically assumes that most people don't qualify for the job, which is one of the reasons why they put criteria up for you even before you even apply. By default, they automatically assume that most people don't qualify and they don't want everybody to apply for the job, which is why they start to put all of these different criteria before they start to vet through and go through the interview process, go through your resumes, go through the whole thing. By default, they assume that most people don't qualify.
Not necessarily. Right? They're just looking for something specific. So that's what they put out there. And then they're like, okay, well, of these people who've applied, let's see who's most applicable to this situation.
Okay, Kim, let's say that you're right. How come you don't get benefits from jobs right away?
It depends on the job. Some of them you do.
How many? How many jobs you just go and you just get?
I don't know what everybody
straight up
else.
Benefits.
How many? 334.
Right. I mean, so if
okay.
It's very few though.
No.
Most jobs you have to wait to get.
Let's deep dive a little bit more. Let's get more specific. Let's get more specific.
Sure.
Should a job automatically assume that the majority of people that apply for this job as a pilot, that they can fly a plane effectively?
No, that's why they ask you for your criteria. They don't just randomly assume that if you applied, you can't fly. They're assuming that if you applied, you must have
fly.
Right. Because why would you apply otherwise? Okay, so now that we've gotten that far, show me what you've done to say this is what qualifies you. But they're not going in saying, well, you probably don't fly. You probably have never flown a plane in your life. Why would you apply?
No. They said show me, right?
Right, but I don't think that they're showing up assuming that you can't fly. Everybody's going to have specific criteria. Like, okay, if you go for a regional airline, you're going to have different hours needed than a mainline airline, right? But that's not saying like just walk in here and just don't know how to fly at all. Everybody's got different standards. If your standard is okay,
once they hire you, do they just put you on a plane by yourself? Do they just let you just jump on a plane?
As opposed to what?
OJT.
Do they just allow for you to just jump on a plane based off of whatever it is that you
used to get OJT on a job training?
Maybe a pilot is not what you want to use because, I mean,
they do. They put them.
Listen. Quinton, shut the fuck up for 5 seconds.
Well, I'm trying. You're not going to.
I'm asking her a fucking question because I don't know. And what I'm asking her a question of, I'm not asking her with the assumption that she's going to go down this path that I'm already planning for her. I'm asking her because she's probably more of an expert in the field and it makes for greater conversation. So I'm asking her because I don't know. What I'm asking her is, once they qualify him and say, okay, you know what? We think he's going to hire you. Do they automatically put him on a plane by himself and allow for him to just pilot a plane? Or do they first put somebody else with him to vet it or find out what do they do when it comes to that situation?
Well, in the US, you're never going to fly by yourself because we just don't do that. But I mean, it's not like you're going to start at a desk job and then like work your way up. They're checking to see what you've done. Like, is this legit? Like all these things, you've got your instrument ratings and all these other things. It's like, to be a pilot, you didn't just wake up one day, fly twice and call it a day. Like, that's just not how that works.
But what I'm asking is, how do they know that that person is actually qualified to fly a plane or that he's not just finessing?
OJT.
You don't necessarily have job training. Like if you're qualified to fly a 737, I'm not teaching you how to fly a 737.
Yeah, but
How would they
OJT
know
is
that
not
he
for.
actually is qualified to fly?
Your ratings. The FAA has told me that.
Okay, so the FAA, I got you. All right. Okay. And the reason that I say that, and the reason that I use a pilot in this example to ask you is because this is a much more dire situation. If you hire an engineer and the engineer is not as good or he's not as qualified as you think that oh shit, I forgot Molly was in there. And the engineer is not as qualified or he's not as good as you anticipate that he is, it's nothing that he's fucking up to where you can't come back from or you can't fire him. Whereas if you're using somebody like a pilot, you're talking about life and death. You're talking about people's lives in their hands. So that's not something that you can just take lightly or risk. You can assume that somebody is an engineer until you qualify them all the way or whatever they get on the job. That's something that's a little bit different. Whereas something like a pilot is, I would think that's something that they really, really have to vet out a little bit more to double check because it's a life and death situation. That's why I say.
I mean, like, and you don't go from I'm a new pilot starting out, getting your private pilot's license and going straight to commercial. That's not how that works. You've flown all kinds of stuff in between. You've gone regional. You might have done a few private things. You might have done the spraying crop dusting or whatever. But then they don't just let you up there by yourself. And that's, again, why in the US, we don't allow just one pilot up there by themselves. But with that said, everybody's been on a plane where there's been a hard landing. So it's just like, you can know exactly what you're doing and still mess up from time to time. That doesn't mean you're not qualified.
Gotcha.